Okay, again, I just want to say I appreciate everybody's patience with us this evening as we're trying to work through the new technology in our new city council chambers. We'll get these bugs worked out. So the next item on the agenda is a presentation by the Des Moines Home Builders Association on a funding stream for apprenticeship trades training. And if you could please state your name.
Hi, my name is Dan Knapp. I'm with Iowa, actually here tonight with Iowa Skilled Trades. Many of you know me from the Home Builders Association, but we're a nonprofit entity that focuses on introducing high school students to opportunities in the trades, high school and middle school students. So we are talking about a funding stream, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. To you, thank you, Mayor and Council, and Jim and your staff for setting this all up. You know, do you have the PowerPoint? I do. You can see everything. Okay. You know, this is all about growth and opportunity, right? There are a lot of things that we can't go back in time and undo, but we know that skilled trades have been pulled out of our society quite a bit. Our schools, the funding's gone. We realize that that needs to be rectified, but in many ways we can't go back and recreate money. We were at the Johnston schools about a month ago, and they wish that they had money to buy a vehicle for the automotive side of their skilled trades. Right? This is a perfect example of what this is. So I was skilled trades just real briefly. We do a lot of things throughout the community. A few years ago, we brought Mike to town to highlight what we're doing. We have an event next week where we've got about 2,100 high school students coming to the fairgrounds to do an immersion day where they do nothing but hands-on all day. They labor, they operate cranes. Those are the types of things we do to try to promote the trades. And it may be in place of college, it may be a way to fund college. It could be for something after college, they want to start a business. We don't care. And we're very unique throughout the country. We're not a pro-union or an anti-union group. We're both. We really want the kids to just understand what the opportunities are and then let them take their path from there and we help direct. So we're bringing this program to Des Moines, and ultimately we'd like it to be metro-wide. But we're starting with a small test group with 5 communities. We're hopeful that 5 communities are part of it. They're listed on the PowerPoint. And we want to learn over the next 18 months how this is received in the community, how the schools understand it so they know to apply. This is not for apprenticeship programs after school. This is purely for middle and high schools to actually get funding to help pay for teachers, books, consumables like saw blades and drills, wood, that car that the Johnston schools want, that type of thing. And it's what it is it's an escalating permit fee. We don't want to call it a tax because it's not. It's really a consumption-based commodity. And when I say that, it means that people that are either building or remodeling, either new construction residentially or commercially, they're the ones that need these skilled trades, just like you needed it to build this building that we're in. They're the ones that are paying these fees. If you wanted to remodel your basement and you and your family were doing it on your own, you can opt out of the fee. But the contractors that are doing this work every day understand the need. They understand the lack of skilled trades. So they're going to want to pay this fee. So that's when we say it's optional. It is something that can be opted out. The school districts that we're talking to right now, the cities are West Des Moines, Waukee, Urbandale, Grimes, and Johnston. Just as an updated status, Waukee is fully in, it's been approved. We're working with them. Urbandale is fully approved and on board. West Des Moines, it went through their one of their committees, their finance committee, and their city council wanted to hear it tonight, but with this going on, it's going to be in 2 weeks. You're hearing it this evening, and Clive has gone through their one of their committees, and we're waiting to get on their council agenda. What we'd really like to do is work through these 18 months, kind of find out how it works, right? The city keeps a small portion because city staff collects these fees, and then they transfer that money to us. But we don't know how much time that's going to take. So we're starting right now with the 1% of it stays with the city to help offset your time. We're not sure if the $1 per 1,000 is too much, too little. We don't know how the schools are going to respond. We don't know how the contractors are going to respond. So that's part of this learning learning curve that we're trying to work our way through. We may find that it's all needs to be adjusted, or we may find that it's very on track. And then we want to come back to you every 6 months and give you an update. That may be informally through city manager's office, just with a written update. A report it could be to you in person, just depends on what the council would like. But that's what we're here for tonight. Ultimately, this would be a full Metro-wide Golden Circle business or program. And if the schools or if the cities don't participate, then the schools can't get funded. So the goal would be to keep it within the communities that are contributing to the program. Initially, we're going to start with those same communities and as they apply, because we want to learn from them. We're not sure if everybody's going to get on board right away. So as they learn, or we're going to use them to learn. So we're not going to restrict them from applying for a grant just because they're not participating. And maybe it's Altoona and we haven't talked to them. So that example, but ultimately that would be the case. So if Johnston decides to opt out, which you're certainly more than is within your rights, then we would just say that Johnston schools can't apply for the grants. We do have a list. I won't read through it, but it just talks about some of the examples of trades. We have examples of what can be applied for. It can be for teachers, but it can't be for their travel to get trained. That's all in the PowerPoint that I sent out. And then there's another document that goes with that, kind of governing, setting it all up. We've got the timeline of when applications will be taken. We've got a structure that is cross-section from plumbing and heating training centers to union training centers to actual city council members and school board members that will be on our selection committee. We're trying to make it very diverse and good cross-section of the community. And then we have a 3-member group that will go back and audit them afterwards to make sure that the funds were used in the right way. So we'll certainly be working with city staff, trying to find how this affects you. Excuse me, your permitting process, how that collection side of things work. But tonight is really the introduction. I know you've all had a chance to see it. I spoke with Rhonda out front a little bit. So I don't know what kind of questions you have. I don't know if you want more information. If that's a little too much. I really don't know. I don't know your council that well. So.
Well, I've got a couple of quick questions. Who would be opposed to this? I mean, if we say, yeah, we're in, is there anybody out there that would say, why in the heck did you do that?
I don't think so, because ultimately, without us training the next generation of tradespeople, we can't build a building like this. We can't build new homes, we can't remodel. It's just the bottom line. The schools aren't going to be able to fund themselves to the degree that they need. So if someone is, they certainly have that opportunity to opt out. It's right there. It's on the permit. It'll be their option. All they have to do is make that choice. So certainly there will be some people that'll come out of the woodwork and say that's no good. But I can't see it.
Right. But you're addressing a very important issue, and that is making sure that we have the skilled people who have those skilled trade skills. Is there some sort of an agreement or something that we as a city would enter into with your? Okay.
Yeah, we're going through that process right now with Joaquin Urbandale. So we will go through that. It depends on the community. Some will want an official contract. Some will just be an agreement that is still in writing. It's essentially a contract, but just depends on how you want to structure.
Okay. And then if I understand you correctly, the money that is collected from a community doesn't necessarily stay in that community.
That's correct. So Johnston has a lot less permits than Joaquin, but they could apply for the same number of grants for the same amount of dollars that Joaquin is asking for requesting. So there's no correlation between how much is given. It's just that the community does participate in order to be able to get funds out.
And you look at the needs in the school.
Sorry?
You look at the application from the school and the needs in the school, and you respond to that.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
what the selection committee is.
Okay. Other questions, council?
Like you mentioned that there's a little checkbox on the permit where they can opt out, so that it's the contractor or builder who decides whether to opt out or not. Is that correct?
That is correct. Whoever's pulling that building permit, sometimes it could be the the property owner.
Yeah. So it's whoever pulls the permit.
That's correct.
But it's $1 per thousand.
Yes,
With a
and
cap.
then there's a cap. Yeah, remodeling cap is 250 per project. New home and tenant improvement for new construct, or, commercial construction is 300. And then there are 2 price points for commercial construction depending on how much the dollar.
Other questions?
We could even, I mean, maybe even as part of, if we decide to do this, as part of our communication effort, could kind of promote to
Sure.
people who are, doing a permit, to encourage them to participate in the program as part of a, I mean, I think, I like that this project. I think it's a good partnership between the city and the school district. I think the school has a really strong program in this area, encouraging trade development. So I think that this is something that makes a lot of sense for us to pursue. So.
Over the next couple of months, we will be working with both commercial and residential contractors to educate them so they understand it. And then we'll also come out with some takeaway pieces that you could have here at your construction permitting desk. So if people have questions about it, they can either get it digitally or a paper version. So that way it explains to them the program.
Did you say that you've talked to the schools and they're excited about this, or what has been your interaction with them?
We've got a pretty consistent dialogue with the schools. That's why we were just there at the high school a month ago. And they're excited about it. Yeah, they're continually funding. Every time we talk to them, invariably we're constantly getting up Gilchrist Jewett lumber, Visor lumber, all these hardwood outlets because the students can't afford to pay for their own projects. And if they build a clock, it's not funded by the school. They have to pay for their own wood, their own consumables. So a lot of times the kids don't have the opportunity to be part of it just because of funding. So they're constantly hitting them up for, do you have anything that you could donate or we could buy at cost? So this will be a way for them to do that. So yeah, they're very, very excited about it.
Great. Other questions, council?
I think it's a fabulous idea, and I only asked Dan, did he consider landscaping as one of his listed
Skips.
groups to support?
And we would gladly do that. I told her, Councilwoman Martin, sorry, that we do have programs for college scholarships. And we do fund people that get into landscape architecture all the time. We have a lot of higher-space students that we send money to. This is working it down to the public school system level. And so we're not quite there with any of those programs. And these were just examples. So it depends on what the school wants to instruct the kids on. We just want to help them fund it.
Okay. Anyone have any concerns about what's being proposed here? Okay, well, we'll continue our discussion with you and see where it takes us then. Appreciate it. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you all very much. Good luck with your IT.
We need it.
We'll get through it. Okay, so we have one additional item on the work session agenda, but I think we can take that up in the regular meeting. Okay, so we will adjourn the work session. Do we need to take a break or should we just press forward? We need to take a break so we can get reestablished. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes for the regular council meeting.